like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now.
I'll read the sports.
That's pretty much as soon as that clock says it's 10 o'clock.
Oh,
right there.
okay. We're on it.
The time is 10 a.m.
Thank you for tuning into the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Michael, and I'm here with Kelly. We invite you to listen to our broadcasts both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday through Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which covers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via media, Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcasts by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a programmed radio. Kelly?
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, this first article is going to come to you from the Springfield News-Leader from the business section. See which Ozark businesses made Forbes' America's Best Companies list by Marta Mize. Her last name is spelled M-I-E-Z-E. This is on December the 4th, 2025. 2 Ozark area businesses has made Forbes' list of the top companies in the nation, with additional Springfield companies included in Missouri's top 20 list. Forbes published its 2026 America's Best Companies list last month, ranking in the top 500 companies across the nation. This year, Springfield's own O'Reilly Automotive, retailer of automotive parts, sits at the 39th spot on the list. Of all businesses in Missouri that made the national list, O'Reilly took the highest rank, outperforming Kansas City's Hallmark and Amerin in St. Louis. O'Reilly also had the highest rank in the 500 company list of companies in the retailing industry. Jack Henry & Associates, a financial technology company based in Monette, was listed as number 176 in the America's Best Companies list. There's a picture of workers in the new O'Reilly Springfield Distribution Center. According to Forbes, the list is compiled through analysis of more than 100 metrics across 11 categories, including financial performance, customer sentiment, employee ratings, sustainability, and more. To be eligible, companies had to have a headquarters in the U.S. and employ more than 7,000 people in the U.S., though this excluded universities and government offices and charitable organizations. This year, Forbes also published best in-state lists for each state. These rankings used a unique methodology to evaluate companies against only others based in that state. The best in-state rankings compared companies based on consumer ratings, employee ratings, size, and more. The number of listees in each state varied based on its population. For Missouri, Forbes listed 20 companies. O'Reilly again made the list, landing as the 4th best company in the Show Me State with Jack Henry at number 6. Springfield Trucking Company Prime earned its spot at number 13 in the Best in State list, and Forvis Mazars, an accounting firm based in downtown Springfield, landed at number 16. Marta Mize covers local government at the News-Leader. If you have feedback, stories, tips, or ideas, contact her at mmieze@news-leader.com.
These are the obituaries through Springfield News-Leader for Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. Joseph McCall, Joe Grimes from Springfield, 94, passed away November 22nd, 2025. Arrangements provided by Landman Funeral Home in Helena, Oklahoma. Jamie Lee Rader, age 50, from Springfield, formerly of Danville, died November 25th, 2025. Funeral services will be held at 2:30 p.m. Thursday, December 11th at Campbell Lewis Funeral Home in Marshall. For Monday, December 1st, Mary Ann Beck, 85, passed away November 28th, 2025. Arrangements provided by Herman H. Lohmeyer Funeral Home. Services on December 6th, 10 a.m. at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic Church. Elizabeth Ruth Roberts, aged 100, from Springfield, passed away on Sunday, November 23rd, 2025. She is survived by daughters Charity Ann Willis, Carl, of Rochester, Minnesota, Mary Elizabeth Banholzer, Mark, of Shoreline, Wisconsin, son. Roger McFadden, aged 83, Lakeland, Florida. 83, died on November 20th, 2025. Janet K. Brown, aged 89, was born in St. Joseph, Missouri on November 15th, 1936. That is listed as Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. Judy Evans from Aldrich, Missouri, 76, passed away November 21st, 2025. Arrangements provided by Green Lawn Funeral Home North. Services on November 28th. That's already passed, I'm sorry. John Jackson from Springfield, 72, passed away November 23rd, 2025. Karen Lee Chrysler Smith, aged 83, Springfield, Missouri, passed away in her home Saturday, November 22nd. And Reverend John Valentine Steinberg, aged 93, was listed on November 25th, 2025.
Okay, how about something a little bit lighthearted and maybe a little tongue-in-cheek? From the Springfield Daily Citizen, written by Steve Pokin, we've got Pokin Around. City gives Springfield man until December 13th to remove 4 toilets from his front yard. December 4th, 2025. So there's a picture of the gentleman in the front yard. His name is Matt Pash, and he's standing proudly behind four porcelain toilets sitting in his front yard. And the caption says, "A man and his toilets, Matt Pash of Springfield, has until December 13th to decide whether to remove the 4 toilets he has placed in his front yard. The city considers them a nuisance." It's a special time of year for Matt Pash. He must decide if he will keep and decorate the 4 toilets he's placed in his front yard or acquiesce to the city, which says they're a nuisance and wants them removed by December 13th. Let's get right to the point, Matt. Why are there 4 toilets sitting in your front yard in the 600 block of East Morningside Street? For those wondering, the house is on Springfield's south side. There's another picture of the toilet sitting around a fire pit, and actually the 4 toilets have been in this position since June of 2024, the resident says. And the article goes on to say, well, he says, someone had previously complained about the inflatable hot tub and the tent covering it in the dog kennel he had in his front yard. He doesn't know who complained, but assumes it's someone who lives on the block. He refers to the unknown complainant as Karen. So he took down the hot tub and tent and moved the kennel to the side of the house. Actually, it's his girlfriend's house. He moved in with her in March of 2024. But his regret over succumbing to the city and to Karen was mixed with annoyance. That's what led to the toilets. It's my creative, artistic way, without being crass, of giving them the middle finger, but I still wanted it to be tasteful, per Matt. This is a dispute that's been brewing for over a year. It started with a single toilet in his front yard. He had found it abandoned a few blocks away. Pash, a self-employed graphic designer, placed it in his front yard, no doubt using his designer skills. He snapped a photo and posted it on social media, and within days, he was gifted with 3 more toilets. The 4 toilets are around a fire pit in the front yard. They've been there since June of 2024, he says. Yes, this dispute with Karen has been brewing for a while. A nuisance violation notice was placed on the house Tuesday, December the 2nd, but an inspector had been out previously. Matt Pash tells me to inspect. I guess that's the right word, the toilets. According to Pash, the inspector said there isn't a problem because the toilets were being used as planters. There were 4 toilet planters. In fact, Pash says he grew a vegetable in one of the tanks. What did you grow? Peas. I assume he grew them in the toilet number 1. I want it to look fun and welcoming. When I visited Wednesday, December the 3rd, 2 of the toilets had solar lights in them. I don't know if they create the desired ambiance or if they even work because I was there in the daylight. And there's a picture of the toilets with the solar lights coming out of them. Matt Pash says he didn't want the yard to look too tacky. He also wants it to look fun and welcoming. Per Matt, he says, I'm not trying to make it look blighted, Pash tells me. I want to still have fun. I'm a fun guy. I don't want it to look tacky, but I want it to look fun and welcoming. Personally, I'm not sure how welcoming I'd find 4 toilets in my front yard to be. Matt Pash also says he doesn't want to be bullied by an anonymous neighbor. He says someone complained, probably Karen, when his girlfriend's granddaughters left their bicycles in the front yard. I lived in North Springfield, Pash tells me. I remember people had bikes and everything else in their front yards. I almost wanted to move back to the north side. It's not like I have car parts sitting in the front yard. Are they afraid people might sit on them? Pash is trying to glean a deeper and truer meaning of what the city wants him to do. It seems pretty obvious to me the city wants him to flush the toilets, but he points out that the inspector asked him in writing to please remove the toilet. Pash wants to know if that means he can keep the other 3. There's a picture of the actual nuisance violation notice. It says your property addressed above violates City Code Section 74-382 because of the nuisance below. Items manufactured only for indoor use located on porches and other exterior areas open to the elements. Please remove the toilet. You must correct each violation by 12/13/2025. Note, you must properly store or remove violations from the property. Failure to meet the deadline will trigger the legal process, which could cost up to $375 in administrative fees alone. If the city corrects the violations, the city will pass all costs in addition to the administrative fees onto you. If the costs remain unpaid, you may see them on your real estate tax bill, or the city may record a special tax bill, which is a personal liability and a property lien. That is the notice that Matt received from the city last week. The photo was edited to remove some identifying information. Are they afraid people might sit on them? I don't know. Pash, who also sees the glass half full because in notes available on the city's website, the inspector wrote, toilets in front yard around a fire pit. The solution then, Pash tells me, is to rearrange the toilets so that they're not around the fire pit. I'm skeptical that that's what the city wants. I don't think it matters if the toilets are around a fire pit or around, for example, the artificial snowman he put up in the front yard on Sunday. The city alleges the 4 toilets are in violation of City Code 74-382, which prohibits items manufactured only for indoor use located on porches and other exterior areas open to the elements. Give me toilets or give me death. On Wednesday, Pash was unsure of what he would do. I don't know. I am torn on this. This is our property. It's not like we're doing anything offensive. Do we have the right to have our front yard look lived in? Will he give in to the man and Karen and remove the toilets? Will he remove just 1 toilet, singular, as ordered in the nuisance violation notice? Will he arrange them so they're not around the fire pit? Or will he stand firm, give me toilets or give me death, and decorate them with Christmas flowers and perhaps an additional art element? Pash works with wood and does wood burning. He envisions a wood sign with the holiday message, I arted. This is Pokin' Around, column number 322. Steve Pokin writes the Pokin' Around and the Answer Man columns for the Springfield Daily Citizen. He also writes about criminal justice issues. He can be reached at spokin@sgfcitizen.org. His office line is 417-837-3661.
This article comes from the Springfield Business Journal. MSU donates Center City property for Route 66 Plaza, by Karen Crego, reporter. Posted online December 4th, 2025. Missouri State University has gifted a 22,630 square foot property to the city of Springfield for use as a park, commemorating a piece of local and national history. At a special meeting December 2nd, Springfield City Council voted unanimously to accept right-of-way from MSU for construction of a birthplace of Route 66 Plaza in the southwest quadrant of Jefferson Avenue and Park Central East. The property is currently a portion of University parking lot. Plans for a sculpture on the site to commemorate the former Colonial Hotel, a key site in the history of the Mother Road. It was from the Colonial Hotel that 2 transportation officials, Missouri State Highway Commission Chief Engineer A.H. Petmere and Oklahoma Department of Highways Chair Cyrus Avery, sent a telegram to Washington, D.C. on April 30th, 1926, suggesting the highway be named Route 66, according to the history of Route 66 on the Visit Springfield, Missouri website. Internationally acclaimed sculptor Juan Isbal of Spain has been commissioned by Sculpture Walk Springfield and the Rotary Clubs of Springfield to create Ghost of the Colonial Hotel, an illuminated artwork that will commemorate the hotel that once stood at the site, according to the news release from Sculpture Walk Springfield. The Rotary Clubs and the Missouri Route 66 Commission will jointly pay for the entire plaza project, according to Sculpture Walk Springfield Executive Director Bridget Bitchell. She said the cost of the sculpture component with its integrated light and sound system is $125,000. In its agreement with the MSU Board of Governors, the city commits to construct a new driveway to provide access to the MSU parking lot and to provide ongoing maintenance, repair, and care of the plaza. The agreement states that DeWitt and Associates, the contractor hired by the Rotary Clubs, will remove existing infrastructure within the plaza footprint and install hardscape, landscape, lighting, and other improvements on the site. The company will also set the framed sculpture depicting the Colonial Hotel facade along with interpretive signage describing the historic event. The plaza is scheduled to be dedicated and unveiled on April 30th, 2026, the centennial of the historic telegram, the agreement states.
Okay, this one comes to you from 417 Magazine, the lifestyle section, inside North Star Christmas Company. On historic Commercial Street in Springfield, Missouri, you can find an eclectic Christmas store dedicated to all things merry and bright by Alyssa Rooney, December 2025. And there's a picture showing the inside of the store and the two owners and their bulldog. He features a little bit later in the article. So, have you heard of a bull in a china shop? On Commercial Street, you can find a much sweeter version, a bulldog in an ornament shop. Have you, Miss Peppermint Piggy Patty is a 4-year-old English bulldog and part-time security guard at North Star Christmas Company, a year-round Christmas store based in Springfield. To North Star's co-owner and operator, Jennifer Bessie Baker, Piggy was a Christmas gift of sorts. She adopted her at Christmas time. As you peruse the quaint shop located across the street from La Rue Bistro, you might become lost in a forest of Christmas trees while a warm cinnamon smell wafts through the space to the sound of Mele Kalikimaka. Each tree incorporates its own distinct aesthetic, the handiwork of Bessie Baker and her family. During other holiday seasons, including St. Patrick's Day and Mother's Day, some plastic evergreen trees take on a completely different seasonal character. This passion for festivity started well before Bessie Baker opened North Star alongside her husband, Derek Baker, earlier this year. She said that they have always gone all out for celebrations, something that was important when she and Baker discussed their family plans. My husband and I both grew up in homes with great parents, but homes where they did not decorate, Bessie Baker says. My parents are just not holiday people, and neither are his parents. They're not birthday people. It's a very regular kind of day for them. So when Bessie Baker and her husband got together and ultimately decided to get married, they talked through what their future might look like at home. They knew they wanted celebrations like birthdays and Christmas to feel extra special. And there's a few more pictures from inside the store, trees decorated, and specific ornaments. There's one cute one that says, "I love you to Springfield and back." So if you had someone that lived far away. The couple's Christmas collection grew so big that they started a business first selling online, then later in antique mall booths, including relics. Around the same time, Baker began installing Christmas lights for customers, a service the shop still offers alongside Christmas tree decorations. The move to a storefront was a natural progression as their demand increased. Bessie Baker describes the couple's business as a side hustle, as the two currently work in government and are set to retire in 2027. "We just want to give back to the community," she says. "We have very stressful jobs, both my husband and I. This is the exact opposite of that." While Branson has its own array of Christmas shops, Bessie Baker says what differentiates North Star is her Springfield-specific ornaments often purchased as souvenirs, as well as her personal connection with customers. "We try to give really individualized customer service," she says, "especially me, because I'm a chatty person." To Bessie Baker, the store prioritizes the magic of Christmas all year, something she defines as the feeling of giving and caring and loving. Some of the most endearing aspects of North Star Christmas Company are its Christmas elves, that is, the Baker's children. They are often hard at work around the store, greeting customers and working the cash register. Some of these children were adopted through the foster care system. Bessie Baker says their experiences reinvigorated her passion for festivity. She estimates that about 20 kids have passed through her home over the last 6 years, and she has made sure to go all out for holidays and birthdays. I truly enjoy bringing kids into the home and letting them experience an over-the-top Christmas because it may be the only one they ever have, she says. In her brick-and-mortar store on C Street, she is helping spread the whimsy. In fact, she and her husband hand-selected the store's location because of the street's character. She wanted a Christmas store and not a mall store. C Street, Bessie Baker says, is also a metaphor for her marriage. The street's mix of historic architecture with eclectic shops matches her husband's traditional nature and her love of unique items. Items like the ornament of Michelangelo's David in red bikini trunks or the chrome Buddha. In the future, Bessie Baker hopes to keep the business in the family. In particular, she sees her 15-year-old daughter, Paige, taking over, citing her entrepreneurial spirit. She has shown true initiative to want to have a business, she says. Could that mean there will be a changing of the guards when it's time for Piggy to enjoy her retirement?
This article comes from the Springfield Daily Citizen by Ryan Collins. Maker of solar panel truck bed covers picks Ozark as next growth hub. The Solis, SOLIS, is a truck-mounted folding solar array, the first of its kind. Think of a fully functioning, foldable solar panel mounted right in the bed of a pickup truck that also acts as a cover. In a nondescript warehouse in Ozark, a New York-based publicly traded company is basing its next big move. WorkSport LED, a NASDAQ-traded company known for making truck bed covers, started leasing a makeshift factory in Ozark in summer 2025, and the business is planning its next wave of growth in the Springfield region. The wave of growth is expected to come from one product, which is exclusively made in the Ozark factory. The Solis is a truck-mounted, folding solar array, the first of its kind, Chief Operating Officer Christopher Bernardo said. Think a fully functioning, foldable solar panel mounted right on the bed of a pickup truck that also acts as a cover. Customers can combine the Solis with a battery system, like WorkSport's COR, to make a portable nanogrid. Users can charge batteries as they go about their day and use that power anywhere, like a job site or campsite. Two-thirds of your truck bed can be accessed while still performing as a giant solar panel that you can drive around, and it's custom fit to your vehicle, said Josh Swanigan, Director of Product Development. Solar panel truck bed cover that works with battery system. The Solis is first and foremost a tri-fold truck bed cover, also known as a tonneau cover, that has custom specs for individual makes and models. They are integrated solar panels in the unit that collects the sun's rays and turn it into energy that can be stored with batteries. Solis will work with any inverter and battery system, but the COR has been designed to be the workhorse that pairs with the solar panel truck bed cover. COR comes with a battery that can be plugged into Solis, and when charged can be plugged into the inverter station. The station has a digital touchscreen that easily walks the user through the features. There's all kinds of plugs for power, from normal 3-prong direct current outlets to USB-A and USB-C. There's even an old cigarette lighter outlet. It takes about 2 hours to fully charge a COR battery with the Solis system. A customer can easily charge 2 or 3 batteries on a sunny day. Each COR battery provides about 1 kilowatt-hour of energy. Depending on the truck bed length, Solis will cost between $19.99 to $24.99. That's $1,999 to $2,499, according to the company website. The COR starter kit kicks off at $949 for one inverter hub and one battery. COR is unique in that it uses modular batteries. One battery can also be used to power the inverter, while another battery charges with Solis. And the Solis can be removed from the truck bed and set up anywhere. The nano power grid concept has a myriad of uses, Swanigan said. You could be a contractor on a job site, the director said. You could be a guy at the football game. You could be a guy going fishing. You could be a guy going camping. You can be anything you can think of. You could be in a storm recovery, anywhere that you need power, that there isn't power. Or you could just be a family person in a suburban area who's extra money to spend and wants something cool. The myriad of uses is what makes Solace special in the work sports products and the reason behind the company's projected growth. Solace is that product that we believe will take our business and name to a different level and is stepping stone to a future that we see for the company growing both locations, New York and Missouri, Bernardo said. Solace will launch ready-made for about 10 truck models to begin with. The company initially targeted 2 to 3 million in 2025 sales, and the launch of Solace and core products with strong growth potential in 2026. Worksport started in 2011 and went public in 2014, according to the company website. In 2020, it joined NASDAQ. The company has traditionally been known for custom bed covers, and the plan is to bankroll the next wave of growth off Solace and core products. Much of that focus will be right here in the Ozarks. Worksport will produce all of its other truck bed covers in New York. The Ozark facility will be known in the company as the hub where it makes energy products, Bernardo said. Choosing this region was no accident, Chief Executive Officer Steve Rossi said. We find a lot of strong talent and stable human resources in the region, Rossi said. It's a strong work ethic. Setting up in Springfield here is going to put the wind in the sails of growing something that's never been done before. The Ozark facility, located at 967 West State Highway NN, will also be a distribution hub for the company. Finding the right facility in the area was challenging, Swanigan said. In the end, to make the space the company needed, Worksport ended up renting out 4 units in a strip mall-like structure and connected those units with doors. Production in the Ozark facility is still being developed, but the units hold offices, a production floor, and a distribution bay. To find something with enough offices and warehouse space, we just couldn't find it. So we ended up leasing these 4 suites and had other doors put in, Swanigan. So we were one big happy family. Swanigan leads the Ozark facility with about 10 employees at this time, responsible for the production design of Solace. The team in the Ozarks started to develop about 3 years ago. At first, the team was responsible for only research and development, but it started production of Solace units at the end of November, when production orders went live on Worksport's website. Worksport does not make the solar panels that are used in Solace, which are ordered from overseas, but does manufacture the entire unit in-house. Basically, it takes pre-made solar panels and integrates them into rubber and metal housing that make the foldable 3-panel truck bed cover. The entire unit is waterproof, even with the hinges of the flaps sealed. Worksport Ltd. was down 52% so far this year to trade at $2.98 a share on NASDAQ on December 4th, 2025, according to Google financial data. Ryan Collins is the Business and Economic Development Reporter for the Daily Springfield Citizen.
Okay. We're going to switch over to sports for a second. I've got a couple articles here for you. This first one comes from the Springfield Daily Citizen by Ryan Collingwood, posted 2 hours ago. If you've been following the sports at all, you know that Nix is headed to the state championship again. So this is about the Class 6 state title game. The Class 6 state title game, Nix's defense is up for a speedy Lee's Summit Run heavy challenge. Eagles are 13-0, facing Tigers that are 9-4 in St. Joseph on Saturday in a title game return. And there's a picture of Nix's Reed Wilson and Jax Adams tackling Pattonville's Gilbert Lakin III during a Class 6 state football semifinal on Saturday, November 29th, 2025 in Maryland Heights, Missouri. They really whooped them that day. So we want to bring it home for our city, says Nixa linebacker Weston Weldon. There doesn't appear to be a defense in Missouri capable of flummoxing Nix's physical, high-octane attack. behind what's likely the biggest and most experienced offensive line in the state, having the highest-ranked offensive tackle in the country in Miami-bound Jackson Cantwell, 6'8", 315, adds this distinction. The Eagles are averaging 45.9 points a game, when Southern Illinois-bound running back Jaden McCaster, 2,035 yards and 36 touchdowns on the year, isn't running through and around linebackers. His future SIU teammate, Randy Flint, who had 37 yards per reception, is getting over-the-top secondaries. Another Division I recruit, 6'5", all-state junior quarterback Adam McKnight, 29 total touchdowns, conducts the talent-rich group that is back in its Class 6 state title game for the second time in as many years. The 7 p.m. clash on Saturday night at Spratt Memorial Stadium in St. Joseph between the Eagles, that are 13-0, and Lee's Summit, who are 9-4, features two speedy, strong, and run-inclined teams looking to be crowned championship in Misha's largest classification. That's the MSHSAA, the Missouri State High School Sports Athletics Association. 60-year head coach John Perry, whose program is 37-2 over the past 3 years, believes the chilly affair will come down to stops and who exhibits the most fortitude late. It's going to be it might be wet, so it's going to come down to toughness, especially in the trenches, Perry said. A year ago, when the Eagles fell to D. Smith 35-20 in the title round, they were essentially outclassed by a private school power with several football, bowl, subdivision recruits, and state championship pedigree. Nixa Lee's Summit features two programs who've never won a state title, according to Misha records dating back to 1968, and are stocked, by and large, by relatively small college recruiting targets. But the Tigers' primary offensive cogs, rotating quarterback, running back, receiver hybrids Preston Hatfield and Karsten Feen, may be the fastest duo the Eagles have seen all year. Earlier this spring, they teamed up in track and field on a 4x100 relay team that set a Missouri state record at 40.96 seconds. Now they spearhead a running attack that totaled 3,445 rushing yards this season. Hatfield, who's 5'9" and 175, missed several games this season due with an injury, big contributor to Lee's Summit 0-4 start. It's since flipped the switch on a 9-game winning streak, including a 35-28 win at Jackson last week in the semifinals. Run-heavy quarterback is an understatement. Hatfield, who also lined up at running back, carried the ball 48 times for 251 yards in that win. His twin brother, who was recently offered by Southwest Baptist in Bolivar, is a receiver. Northwest Missouri State-bound receiver running back Fine, who is 6'2" and 180, who stepped in at quarterback when Hatfield was injured, has more than 1,200 yards of offense this season and a team-high 21 touchdowns. We're not afraid to snap it to multiple guys, Lee's Summit coach Todd Miller told Kansas City television station KSHB this week. We're just letting our imagination take this offense where it's kind of evolved right now. They will formation you and try to get an advantage where they see one, Perry said of the Tigers. Perry said his hard-nosed junior linebacker, Weston Weldon, will see similarities in Lee's Summit's offense to what they saw in Central Ozark Conference rival Republic. The Republic Tigers, who rarely throw, are a downhill, grinded-out program that saw its quarterback account for most of the carries. Nixa beat state-ranked Republic 49-21 in the season opener. We've played teams like this before. I'm definitely excited to face that type of offense, said Weldon, who has more than 100 tackles. I like going up against teams that are smash-mouth. While Nix's offense came into the season with several proven figures, its defense had a few holes to fill with juniors. The defense has mostly played well and pushed through some growing pains, shutting out an air raid Pattonville 45-0 in last week's semifinals. A few key stops could be the difference Saturday for a Nixa defense, yielding just 15.5 points per game. We have a lot of motivation to do what we couldn't do last year, which is win state, Weldon said. We want to bring it home for our city. Perry advanced to 2 state title games at his previous job in his native Pearl, Mississippi, losing in 2016 before winning in 2017. He hopes for a similar result on Saturday. Since last year's championship loss there, and all they've really done is focused on being the best they can be. They've really embraced the challenge and where they're at. Nixa held a number 2 ranking much of the regular season behind number 1 Christian Brothers College, which got upset 45-42 in the state quarterfinals. Lee's Summit postseason includes wins over 6-4 Lee's Summit North by 35-33, 8-3 North Kansas City 42-21, and 10-2 Liberty 24-14, and 12-1 Jackson 35-28. Current NFL figures: Drew Lock, quarterback for the Seahawks; Felix Nduki Uzma, defensive end for the Chiefs; and Michael Tinsley, receiver for the Bengals, are Lee's Summit graduates. And if you've been following those Nixa Eagles, you also know about Nixa senior offensive tackle Jackson Cantwell. So this story's about him. It posted today. It's kind of making the circulation now. So how Gatorade Player of the Year finalist Jackson Cantwell feels heading into the Show Me Bowl. A Nixa senior offensive tackle, Jackson Cantwell, wraps up a career for the history books. He's added another piece of hardware to his collection and a shot at more as the team prepares for the Class 6 Show Me Bowl state championship this weekend. With a state-leading 173 pancake tackles across 13 games this season, Cantwell was named Gatorade's Missouri Player of the Year. This 6'8" senior gave junior quarterback Adam McKnight, senior running back Jaden McCaster, and company plenty of room to average 9.7 yards per play and 45.8 points per game. Gatorade also announced that Cantwell is a top 3 finalist for its National Football Player of the Year award. He joins Tyler Atkinson, a senior linebacker from Loganville, Georgia, and Landon Williams-Callis, a junior running back from Richmond, Texas, as a candidate for the award. The up-and-coming tackle was honored along with teammates McCaster and senior wide receiver cornerback Randy Flint and Nixa track and field athlete Hayden Mays with a signing day at the school's Apex Activities Center on Wednesday. Cantwell, who is bound for the University of Miami, didn't mince words about being focused on the task at hand when speaking with the media following his signing. Obviously, a lot is going on this week. Signing day, the state championship is coming up. I'm sure Gatorade Player of the Year will be announced really soon, Cantwell said. At the end of the day, I'm just glad it's all going on. It's a cool time of year. I'm just glad we're playing right now because obviously there are a lot of Class 6 teams that are not. It's really cool to get the opportunity to do something cool for my community one last time as a Nixa athlete. Despite the fanfare he's received in recent weeks, knowing that his time as a high school athlete is coming to an end, Cantwell has remained humble and focused on the team's goals rather than his own. A lot of times when players become really good, their ego gets out of whack, head coach John Perry said. We have experienced none of that. His parents made sure that he put Nixa first in everything he did, and every trip he took was planned around Nixa High School and what was best for our football program. That's very uncommon in the world we live in. The 4-year standout, who has impressively amassed more than 450 pancake blocks across 49 career games, says he's feeling confident heading into the weekend, but also recognizes that Lee Summit won't be an easy opponent. You got to feel good, right? Cantwell said. We've had a really good team all year. We've stayed consistent. I think that's the biggest thing that separated us from other teams in the state. At the end of the day, the score is going to be determined largely by the ground game this weekend because Lee Summit runs the ball probably as much as anybody. They've got some good players, and so do we, and so we're just going to have to do what we've done all year and figure out a way to get this win. The positive championship-minded energy surrounding the team could blossom into an accomplishment never achieved in school history, a Class 6 state title. There are a lot of guys that would have left to go somewhere else in my position, Cantwell said. I had no thought of leaving Nixa at all. I wanted to stay all 4 years and finish it out. The main reason is because we're going to have an opportunity on December the 6th at 7 p.m. to do something that's never been done in Nixa history. So that would be something really, really cool to bring back here, and I'm focused on that right now. So whether he's done any reflecting on his career as it reaches the final game, Cantwell humorously quipped that he tries not to think about himself at all. It's just not really what I like to do. He said, I don't like to talk about myself by any means, but it's kind of cool stuff that I've been doing whenever you look at it, and I'm hoping to add one more thing, the team title in 2025. It would be a pretty cool way to cap it off, so that would mean the world to me if we could get that done.
These are some of the holidays listed for Friday, November 5th, 2025. AFL-CIO Day. Bartender Appreciation Day is observed the first Friday in December. Bathtub Party Day. Day of the Ninja, also known as Die Like a Pirate Day, International Creep Like a Ninja Day, International Ninja Day, Move Like a Ninja Day, Ninja Day, Sneak Like a Ninja Day, and Stalk Like a Ninja Day. Faux Fur Friday, observed the first Friday in December. International Sweater Vestival, also known as Festival of Sweater Vests, Sweater Vestival and Vestival, observed the second Friday after Thanksgiving. International Volunteer Day. Krampus Night. National Blue Jeans Day. National Comfort Food Day. National Communicate with Your Kids Day. National Commute with Your Baby Day. Repeal Day, also known as Repeal of Prohibition Day. World Soil Day. Also things that are coming up, the Imagine 2025 celebrates 40 years of music and community. This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen, sponsored by the Gilloy Center for Arts and Entertainment. For 4 decades, Springfield has marked the arrival of December with a musical tradition known as Imagine. On Saturday, December 6th, 2025, Imagine returns for its 40th anniversary, bringing with it a history as rich as the music it honors. Sponsored by Springfield Kia and other supporting partners, including Headline Productions, Brightspeed Fiber Internet, Dugout Bar and Grill, and Greek Corner Printing. This year's event, Imagine 2025, is more than a tribute. It's a celebration of the music of John Lennon and the Beatles, of the artists who bring that music to life, and of the Gilloy's Theater, which has become its permanent home. Tickets are just $29, with doors opening at 6:30 and the show beginning at 7:30. Over the years, Imagine has continued to draw longtime fans, first-time attendees, and families and businesses who have made the concert part of their holiday traditions. And a tradition born from loss. The Imagine concert was first performed in 1985, just 5 years after John Lennon's death, and was created by Springfield musician Ron Butler as a local way to honor Lennon's legacy. What began as a heartfelt remembrance has grown into an annual gathering that celebrates not only Lennon's music, but the influence the Beatles had on generations of musicians and listeners. Butler is opening the show this year as part of the Big Beat Club, connecting Imagine's beginnings to its present. His reoccurring performance is a reminder that while Imagine has expanded in scale, its purpose has remained the same. A permanent home at the Gilloy's Theater. Since 2009, the historic Gilloy's Theater has served as the home for Imagine. Built in 1926 and lovingly preserved over the years, the Gilloy's is one of Springfield's most cherished landmarks. As a nonprofit 501c3 organization, the theater relies on community support to maintain its operations, historic character, and year-round programming. Imagine is the Gilloy's Theater's largest fundraiser of the year, directly supporting operating expenses and preservation efforts. When our community shows up for the event, they are also helping ensure that the Gilloy's Theater continues to thrive for many more years to come. More than a tribute, a celebration. Imagine is known for its legendary status, a phrase echoed again and again by longtime attendees. The 2025 lineup promises an especially electrifying blend of local and regional talent, including the Big Beat Club, Brian Copeland, 7D Funk All-Stars, the Hellbenders, Guinevere Goodwin, and Red Light Runner. These artists bring a spectrum of styles: rock, folk, funk, bluegrass, and soul, and each group has its own stamp on the Lennon and Beatles catalog. From acoustic renditions to high-energy reimaginings, every performance captures the essence of the music while honoring creative freedom for the musicians on stage. It is this collaborative mix of voices that has defined Imagine. It is not a single band performing covers. It is many artists, each interpreting classics through their own lens. That diversity is what keeps our audience coming back year after year. A night of music, memory, and meaning. Held annually on the first Saturday of December, near the anniversary of Lennon's passing, Imagine creates a space for shared reflection and celebration. The Beatles' music, known for its themes of peace, love, and connection, and even revolution, continues to resonate across generations. Those universal messages are woven throughout the evening. The atmosphere inside the Galois on Imagine Night is unlike anything else in the region. Warm, nostalgic, energized, and hopeful. Longtime fans sit behind young concert-goers who are hearing some of these songs live for the very first time. Local musicians who grew up attending Imagine now take the stage themselves, creating a cycle of inspiration that has fueled the event's longevity. One shining example is Guinevere Goodwin, who first attended Imagine at 15 and was inspired to pick up a guitar. Now she returns to perform on the very stage that sparked her musical journey. Supporting the theater you love. Every ticket sold, every raffle entry purchased, and every donation made through Imagine contribute directly to preserving the Galois Theater for generations to come. That support that keeps the lights on, the doors open, and the stage active for the multitude of events the Galois hosts each year. Can't attend? You can still donate. This December, be part of the tradition, be part of the legacy, be a part of Imagine. Imagine 2025, Saturday, December 6th, doors at 6:30 p.m., show at 7:30 p.m., $29 for tickets. Experience why Imagine is, after 40 unforgettable years, still one of Springfield's most beloved events. Reserve your seats, support a historic nonprofit theater, and celebrate an evening of legendary music.
Okay. All right. This is one to, I don't know if you want to pay attention to this part or not. We're going to go through some restaurant inspections. So sometimes it's nice not to know, but sometimes it's nice to know too. So here we go. Greene County restaurants struggle to keep food at safe temps, by Susan Such, December 5th, 2025. We're going to skim through some of these. Two different Greene County restaurants had trouble keeping cold food cold and hot food hot last week, according to Springfield Greene County Health Department restaurant inspection reports. Food that is between 41 degrees Fahrenheit and 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh. There we go. Food that is between 41 degrees Fahrenheit and 135 degrees Fahrenheit is what in the United States, technical difficulty, is what in the United States Department of Agriculture calls the danger zone, meaning bacteria can grow quickly. Meaning that bacteria can grow quickly to levels that cause illness. Schultz and Dooley's, 210 West Chesterfield Boulevard, was cited for having 5 potentially hazardous food items above 41 degrees in a cooler unit, including mozzarella cheese, shredded sausage, sweet sausage, pizza sauce, and ricotta. During a December 2nd routine inspection, the violation was corrected by adjusting the cooler unit, which was at 37 degrees by the end of the inspection. Village Inn at 533 East Elm in Republic just completed a risk control plan for cold holding, and while there were no cold holding violations during the December 3rd inspection, hot food was not kept hot enough in a steam table. Green chili sauce was at 111 degrees, hollandaise sauce was at 84 degrees, and turkey gravy was at 119 degrees. The violation was corrected on site by reheating all of the items to above 165 degrees and adjusting the steam table. Issues found during the inspections fall into either priority or non-priority violations. Priority violations impact the safety of the food, such as cross-contamination between raw and ready-to-eat food, improper food temperature, and personal poor hygiene and employee health. Multiple priority violations can lead to an establishment being shut down. Non-priority violations alone do not directly affect food safety, such as dirty floors, sticky tabletops, or outside trash cans not being covered. Food inspections take place 1 to 3 times a year, depending on the type of food served, the population served, difficulty of food preparation, and past history. Restaurants preparing food from raw ingredients are inspected more often than convenience stores that only serve non-potentially hazardous foods, such as popcorn and soda, according to the Springfield Greene County Health Department. Each report identifies what was happening at the establishment at that time. Consumers who want to know whether their violation is a one-time thing or a pattern are encouraged to refer to previous reports. Here are the food inspections from last week. Aldi Food Store number 33 in Republic. Results are active. No violations were noted at the time of inspection. Discussed pest prevention and monitoring defrost cycles for all coolers. Aldi's Family Restaurant on West Chestnut and Architect Coffee on East Republic Road had no violations noted. Brahms Ice Cream on North Kansas Expressway, routine inspection, no active results observed. Bubba's Barbecue on Northwest Bypass, December 2nd, routine inspection, no priority violations, but 2 non-priority violations were observed. Daylight through the seal of the back exterior door, education provided, and observed hinges on the prep cooler top door and meat hot holding case did not close properly. The Fast and Friendly on North Kansas Expressway, routine inspection, 1 priority violation, observed several dented canned food items on retail shelves, which was corrected on site by voluntarily removing dented canned food items, and education provided. 1 non-priority violation, observed fan covers in the walk-in cooler were not clean, which is a repeat violation. The Jerry Poole Republic Senior Friendship Center, no violations noted. Glendalough Conference Kitchen at the Doubletree, no violations noted. Popeyes on East US 60 and Republic, 1 priority violation, observed 1 bin of rice and coleslaw at 46 degrees and 47 degrees, which was discarded at the time of inspection. Rebar Tap Room on South Campbell Avenue, December 1st, routine inspection. 1 priority violation, observed raw eggshells stored in the walk-in cooler over Alfredo sauce and beer kegs, which was corrected on site and education given. 1 non-priority violation, observed ice machine not clean on the inside, non-food contact surface. We've already talked about Schultz and Dooley's. Scramblers on Republic Road, no priority violations. 1 non-priority violation, observed employee drink in prep cooler that was not in a closed beverage container, corrected on site and education given. The Taj Mahal Indian Restaurant on East Republic Road in Springfield, 2 priority violations, observed potentially hazardous foods such as sauces, cooked vegetables, and cooked chicken inside the walk-in cooler, prep cooler, and Pepsi cooler without a date mark, which is a repeat violation and education given. Observed debris built up on can opener, which is corrected on site and education given. 1 non-priority violation, observed heavily scored cutting boards, education provided. We talked about Village Inn. Wanda Gray School, no violations noted at the time of inspection, but discussed methods to expedite cooling process in the walk-in cooler. And Will's Chop House on South Lindstone Avenue, Springfield, December 2nd, routine inspection, result active. 1 priority violation, observed raw eggshells stored in over ready-to-eat foods like salad dressing in the walk-in cooler, which was corrected on site by relocating the eggs and education given. 1 non-priority violation, observed non-food contact surface of hood equipment was not clean with grease built up and grease hanging from the hood filters.
According to 417 Magazine, this week in Springfield, Missouri, find the best things to do this weekend in Springfield and around southwest Missouri. What's the holiday decor vibe at your house? Is this your Christmas tree classic and classy or bright and festive? At my house, we have what can only be called a chaos tree with touches of mid-century retro whimsy. Nothing matches. Probably half of the ornaments are handmade by children or relics from my own childhood, and it doesn't feel like Christmas without many, many pops of pink. Our holiday decor won't be featured in his Chick magazine spreads anytime soon, and I'm okay with that. My kids love setting out that mismatched early 1990s Christmas village, holding the hideous pickle on the tree and taping handmade paper snowflakes all over our windows. It's a 10 out of 10 for fun and a 0 out of 10 for style. The only thing that even mildly resembles a cohesive collection is my mantle full of multicolored trees. There's always room up there for one more, so I plan to pop into a winter market event at Cassidy Station this weekend to see if I can find a new one to fall in love with and buy from one of the local vendors at Cassidy Station new festive Christmas shop. For more inspiration over the weekend, you can also stroll the houses that are part of Midtown Neighborhood's Victorian Christmas Homes Tour, or pop into North Star Christmas Company on Commercial Street to get your tree a little something new to wear. Oh, and one more thing. If you find yourself passing through Rogersville while you're out and about in the Ozarks this weekend, you need to make a stop at Empire Coffee. This worldly little cafe sells beautiful pastries from French chef Roland Parny, and its high-quality coffee is sourced from Rome by the shop's Italian owner, Carlo Silvaghi. It's worth taking the time for a weekend side quest to get a taste. December 5th, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Ghosts of Christmas Eve, is at Great Southern Bank Arena. Familiar holiday music meets progressive rock and enormous light shows and over-the-top stage presence in this holiday favorite. You can also purchase add-on tickets that you get perks like complimentary drinks, snacks, Club Vault lounge access, and more. December 5th through the 6th, the Victorian Christmas Homes Tour, Midtown Springfield. Springfield's Midtown neighborhood is a treasure trove of Victorian and historic homes, and this annual event features 5 of them, plus Sacred Heart Church, all decorated in their holiday best. The church was built in 1882, and the homes on the tour were all built between the 1800s and 1900s. Shuttles take tour-goers to all the tour stops. December 6th, Winter Market, Cassidy Station at Estes Farms. Cassidy Station comes alive with festive fun. There's cookie decorating, ice skating for an additional fee, food trucks, holiday drinks, and even a pop-up bar. Oh, and photo ops with Santa. Be sure to visit the tree lot to find your Christmas tree. December 7th, the Book of Mormon, Hammond's Hall for the Performing Arts. As part of Hammond's Hall's Broadway series, this acclaimed musical comedy tells the story of 2 missionaries to a remote village in Uganda and has won 9 Tony Awards for its humor and music. Through December 7th, Frozen, the Broadway musical, Landers Theater. Let it go, let it go. See Elsa navigate her ice-wielding powers while Anna embarks on an adventure to save her, all while Olaf, Kristoff, and Sven provide a little heart and humor on the side. Through December 28th, Gardens Aglow. Mizumoto Japanese Stroll Garden. Feel the magic of the season as you walk through one of Springfield's prettiest parks. Mitsumoto Japanese Stroll Garden is decked out for the holidays with 200,000 sparkling lights. This event is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings through December 28th. Through December 30th, an old-time Christmas at Silver Dollar City. The number of holiday lights covering the buildings at Silver Dollar City is astounding. It's an unbeatably cheerful glow. There's also a huge Christmas tree and holiday seasonal treats and more. Through December 31st, Nature by Night at Night, Top of the Rock. Lost Canyon Cave Trail takes on a whole new look at this time of year when Top of the Rock is decked out in holiday light displays. There you can warm up with hot drinks while you take in the views from four-person golf carts. Holiday Pop-Up Roundup. 'Tis the season for your favorite haunts to get all dolled up for the holidays. Make the rounds to a few fun holiday pop-up bars that are adding a little festive cheer to the local nightlife scene. For their J-Ho-Ho-B holiday pop-up, JOB Public Houses has decked out its adjoining space with loads of festive decor to go along with a menu of holiday-themed cocktails. Christmas decor and twinkling lights cover just about every surface at Brewco for its pop-up, the Jolly Elf, and its holiday cocktail menu offers many drinks that use locally made spirits. Even Cassidy Station has gotten into the fun with the Tipsy Reindeer pop-up, where they'll even be offering special events like a karaoke night on December 20th and a disco party on December 27th. And the newest addition is the Claws and Key, a super festive pop-up at 14 Mill Market in Nixa. Well, actually, it's specifically located at Whisper Mill, the hidden speakeasy inside 14 Mill that you access via a sneaky little bookcase.
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store Radio Reading Service. Come by and see us in person with daily deals at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. Veterans receive a 25% discount every day, providing significant savings as a token of appreciation for their service. Additionally, the store features a weekly clothing sale where all clothing items are available at 50% off every Wednesday. Seniors aged 55 and older benefit from a 25% discount every Tuesday, making shopping more affordable for the senior community.
On this day in history, December 5th, 1932, Little Richard was born. 1901, Walt Disney was born. 1901, Werner Heisenberg was born, German physicist and philosopher. In 1839, George Armstrong Custer was born. According to the Springfield Daily Citizen, the answer man, Steve Pokin columns, what's going on at former Walgreens at Grand and Kansas Expressway? The lot is fenced off with DeWitt construction signs on the fence. Rita Davis of Springfield. The Jordan Valley Community Health Center bought the former Walgreens, which closed in February. In August, and will remodel the 14,094 square feet building for its elderly care program. The building is at 1930 West Grand Street, and the service is called Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly, or PACE, P-A-C-E. The Elderly Care Program currently is in space at the Health Center's Center Clinic across Kansas Expressway at 1720 West Grand Street, the site of the former Price Cutter, which closed in 2015. It has 50,466 square feet. The health center expects to open the former Walgreens building in the middle of 2026, says Ryan Kruger, Vice President of Operations for the Jordan Valley Community Health Center. We are going to remodel the PACE space at 1720 West Grand to help support our pediatric dental residency program that we're starting, he says. To qualify for the PACE program, you must be 55 or older, certified to need nursing home care, and live in the Jordan Valley Senior Care Services area. You also must be able to live safely in the community with the assistance of Jordan Valley Senior Care Services at the time of enrollment. All of Greene County is within the Jordan Valley Senior Care Services area. The Health Care Center's website has more information on the PACE program. The Answer Man column number 150, Steve Pokin.
All right, from the Springfield News-Leader. Final defendant in Kelly Ann Workman cold case pleads guilty, by Marta Mies, posted December the 5th, 2025. Key points and AI-assisted summary. The final defendant in the 1989 murder of Kelly Ann Workman, Bobby Banks, has pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. The key witness in the cold case was the defendant's son, who was 10 years old at the time of the crime. Bobby Banks' brother, Dwight Banks, previously took a plea deal for voluntary manslaughter and was sentenced to 15 years. Charges were dropped against a third man named Wiley Belt due to a lack of available witnesses to testify. The final defendant in the 1989 Ozarks murder of Kelly Ann Workman has pleaded guilty less than a week before his trial was set to begin. With this marking one of the final steps in the cold case being brought to justice, more information has been shared about what transpired in the summer of 1989. Workman was 24 years old when she was last seen at 6:15 p.m. on June 30th, 1989, mowing grass at the Dogwood Cemetery near Pleasant Southern Baptist Church in Douglas County, according to previous News-Leader reporting. A week later, her body was found submerged in a creek in the Mark Twain National Forest near Oldfield, about 12 to 15 miles from the cemetery. The murder charges in court documents noted Workman was killed by being repeatedly struck by a blunt object. A grand jury indicted 3 men in early 2024 for the murder, kidnapping, and rape of Workman. While the Douglas County prosecutor dropped charges against one of the men, Wiley Belt, on November 26th, Bobby Banks' case was still pending and set to go to bench trial December the 8th. Banks instead pleaded guilty on Thursday, December the 4th, to second-degree murder. Her son was a key witness in the cold case. Prior to February 2024, the cold case had been re-examined several times over the years. Bobby Banks and his brother Leonard Dwight Banks had been top suspects throughout the early investigations, yet evidence never seemed to amount to actual charges against the 2 men. That changed in 2024 after 2 investigators, Leslie Albright and Christopher Holland, spent 2 years re-examining the case, which spanned several jurisdictions and included a Swiss cheese of evidence. Albright told the News-Leader previously the key to solving the crime came from key eyewitness who had come forward. Douglas County prosecutor Matthew Weatherman told the News-Leader on December the 4th that eyewitness was Bobby Banks Jr., the son of the main suspect in the case, Bobby Banks. He said Banks Jr. was only 10 years old in 1989 and had been in the vehicle when his father and Dwight Banks killed Workman in a field in rural Douglas County. Until approached by Albright and Holland, he had remained mum about what he had seen, largely due to his fear of his father, who Weatherman said had threatened his son and his wife's lives and been previously abusive. Weatherman called Banks Jr. a hero and instrumental in being able to bring justice to the case and closer to closure for the Workman family. It was the piece that we needed, the pieces that prosecutors all over the years never had, he said. Really the difference between what they knew in 89 and 92 and 2005, the difference between then and now is Bobby Banks Jr., and without his testimony, we would have never had enough to go in front of a grand jury, and we would never have had enough to get to the point where they were pleading guilty. There's a picture of Douglas County prosecutor Matthew Weatherman as he speaks on Kelly Ann Workman murder case that has been cold for 35 years at a press conference at Pleasant Ridge Baptist Church on Wednesday, February 21st, 2004. The charges against Belt were dropped last week, which Weatherman said was largely due to witnesses that would have implicated him in the case passing away from old age throughout the years. While the grand jury decided there was sufficient probable cause to pursue charges against Belt, Weatherman said he did not think the evidence available at the trial was sufficient to show beyond a reasonable doubt Belt was guilty. The evidence that we had established probable cause that Wiley Belt was involved in these crimes was largely tied to witnesses that were no longer available to testify almost exclusively, he said. As a prosecutor, you know, it's not just my job to reach and seek conviction. I have to seek justice in all forms. When someone is guilty, it is my job to seek as much proof and then provide that to the jury and the judge and seek punishment or rehabilitation if it's appropriate for those offenses. It's just as much my job to recognize when there is not proof available and to let those cases go. There is a very large gulf in between probable cause and beyond a reasonable doubt. In a statement last week, Belt and his attorney, Joseph Passanine, maintained Belt's innocence, claiming he was wrongfully accused and that Belt did not know the Banks brothers. I am grateful and relieved to finally have this heavy shadow from false identification lifted from our lives, Belt said in a statement. The sentencing of Bobby Banks to follow in February. December the 4th, Bobby Banks pleaded guilty in an Alford plea, which allows the defendant to plead guilty, acknowledging the evidence against him while maintaining his innocence. He had waived his right to a jury trial in November. This was an open plea, meaning the sentencing will be decided later on instead of through negotiation with the prosecution. That's scheduled to take place in Wright County on February 24th, 2026. In preparation for a bench trial, attorney John Admick had also requested a mental evaluation of his client, Bobby Banks, which initially implied he might be suffering some form of dementia, according to documents filed in CaseNet. While he had not seen the final report, as it was considered a medical record, Weatherman said that the evaluation found Bobby Banks was competent to stand trial. The prosecutor noted parts of the findings could be admitted by the defense to argue for a more lenient sentence. When the court takes up Bobby Banks' sentencing, Weatherman told the News-Leader he'll be seeking a life sentence against the defendant. While the grand jury had charged Bobby Banks with first-degree murder, kidnapping, and rape, he only pleaded guilty to second-degree murder with the other charges dropped. Weatherman explained that all 3 counts have the same punishment range, so it's common practice to have the defendant plead only to the top felony count. He also said the main difference between first and second-degree murder is the possibility for parole. The way parole works on a murder charge, whatever sentence he is eventually sentenced to, he will have to serve 85% of that before he's eligible for parole, he said. With somebody in their mid to late 60s, life with parole and life without parole are essentially the same sentence. Dwight Banks took a plea deal in July, submitting an offered plea to voluntary manslaughter. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Weatherman said he pleaded to a lesser charge due to evidence indicating Bobby Banks was the one who actually caused Workman's death, while Dwight Banks assisted. A plea deal was also offered to Bobby Banks in August, which Weatherman said was similar to his brother's but for murder, with a sentence of 15 years as well. Wright County Circuit Judge R. Craig Carter rejected this plea deal. Once Bobby Banks is sentenced, the 36-year-old cold case will finally be officially closed. If a generation is 15 years, then the Workman family has been waiting for more than 2 generations to know finally what happened and to actually have answers, Weatherman said. This was a moment that forever changed Douglas County. It's a profound moment for the county, so I'm glad we're finally able to bring it to a close.
According to the Springfield News-Leader, Guns N' Roses is coming to Thunder Ridge Arena 2026 by Claudette Riley. Guns N' Roses first announced show of the 2026 concert season at Thunder Ridge Arena in Ridgedale. The iconic American rock band, which boasts the 11th best-selling album of all time with 1987's Appetite for Destruction, will stop in the Ozarks toward the end of a lengthy world tour that starts in Mexico in late March. Tickets for the September 12th show in the Ozarks will go on sale 10 a.m. December 5th at ThunderRidgeNatureArena.com. The 31-date tour will include performances in Poland, Ireland, the Netherlands, Germany, Belgium, and France. The tour will include stadiums, arenas, amphitheaters, and festivals. In announcing the tour, Guns N' Roses will also release 2 new singles, Nothing and Atlas, the band's first new music since 2023. They will be released in December. The group's 2024 world tour sold 1.3 million tickets and marked the band's largest run. The 3-hour shows mix new songs with fans' favorites. Touring members include Axl Rose, Duff McKagan, Slash, Dizzy Reed on keyboard, Richard Fortus on rhythm guitar, Isaac Carpenter on drums, and Melissa Reese on keyboard. Closer to home, the Mystery Hour will include actor Ed Begley Jr. for a holiday show. Springfield's own Mystery Hour is getting ready to host its annual holiday show and made even more jolly this year by including actor Ed Begley Jr. The Mystery Hour Holiday Spectacular brings a holiday twist to the late-night talk show style on Friday, December 12th at the Galois Theater, 325 Park Central East. The show announced via news release Wednesday, December 3rd, that will be joined by Begley, who has appeared in many movies and TV shows including Young Sheldon, Better Call Saul, Arrested Development, A Mighty Wind, and Holiday Touchdown, A Chief's Love Story. Joining Begley will also be musician Randall Shreve. The evening of holiday fun also promises performances by Guinevere Goodwin, Emerson Day, and new digital videos according to the release. The show will begin at 7:30, and tickets can still be purchased for $25 at the Galois box office or on the website. The Mystery Hour aired for 10 seasons on various Fox, ABC, NBC, and CW affiliates across the country, broadcast from the Galois Theater in downtown Springfield. During the 10 seasons on television, the show won 4 Emmy Awards from the Mid-American chapter. Craving an Ed Begley Jr. movie? The day after the Mystery Hour show, College Station Theaters at 415 West College Street will screen 3 of Begley's films with a Q&A with the actor to follow after each. All 3 screenings will take place on Saturday, December 13th. Here's when to catch them. A Mighty Wind at 5:30 p.m., She-Devil at 6 p.m., Batman Forever at 6:15 p.m. Tickets are available at the College Station Theater's website.
Okay. This one's going to come to you from the Springfield Daily Citizen, the Springfield and Greene County News. City opens survey for convention center project following voters' rejection of the hotel tax. Springfield voters rejected a proposal in November to raise the hotel tax, with 52% of voters opposed, by Jack McGee, posted 24 hours ago. The empty lot next to the Springfield Expo Center has long been considered a possible location for a new convention and events center. Editors note, free access to elections coverage is made possible by the Merrill Lynch Nelson Hallman Group. The City of Springfield has opened a survey as part of a broader outreach effort to collect feedback on a proposed convention center and event center following voters' narrow rejection of a hotel tax increase in the November 4th special election. Had it passed, the measure would have increased Springfield's hotel tax from 5% to 8%, and the overall tax rate on sleeping accommodations, including the base sales tax rate, from 13.1% to 16.1%, not including any additional taxes and special taxing districts. Expected to generate about $4.5 million per year initially, the increase would have provided a critical funding source for the 250,000 square foot convention center and event center project, estimated to cost $175 million, as proposed in a market demand and feasibility study recently conducted by Hunden Partners. While the city has yet to publicly announce a specific location for the project, the study firmly suggests that the economic impact of a new convention center and event center would be the greatest if the facility was located near downtown with near downtown amenities, and points to the vacant city-owned property between the Springfield Expo Center and the Jordan Valley Car Park, which has previously been envisioned as a possible site for a new convention center as a potential development area. Hunden Partners estimates that the proposed facility could generate $1.347 billion in new spending over the next 30 years, as well as $63.3 million in state tax revenue and $68.7 million in local tax revenues. The study also identifies the need for a 400-room connected hotel, estimated to cost an additional $209 million, among other recommendations. The Springfield City Council has already allocated more than $30 million towards the project, much of which is intended to provide the required local match for a $30 million state budget earmark, which is currently designated as restricted but could be released by the governor. City officials have previously stressed that the city must spend $60 million by the end of June 2026 in order to get the full $30 million from the state, which would be provided as reimbursement if released. City Manager David Cameron previously indicated that a hotel tax measure is still on the table as city officials reconsider how to fund the project and secure the state earmark. In the aftermath of the election, Cameron acknowledged that some voters may have been skeptical about the projected economic impact and uneasy over the project's unknowns. The survey, which closes December 19th, is intended to help the city determine what information residents need and better understand the community priorities and concerns, according to the release. Results will be shared with City Council and the city's leadership team. We've launched a community survey because we want to hear directly from Springfield residents about your thoughts on the convention and events center discussions, Cameron said in the release. Whether you supported, opposed, or didn't vote on the proposal, your perspective is important. This survey helps us understand what questions you have, what concerns you'd like addressed, and what information is most helpful as we consider next steps. It only takes a few minutes, and we truly want to hear from as many people as possible. There's a link to the survey here. While the address information is used to help the city understand geographic trends, responses are otherwise anonymous. In addition to the survey, the city plans to hold listening sessions. Jack McGee is the government affairs reporter at the Springfield Daily Citizen. He previously covered politics and business for the Daily Citizen. He's an MSU grad with a Bachelor of Science degree in journalism and a minor in political science. If you want to know more about this survey or anything else, reach out to him at jmcgee@sgfcitizen.org or 417-837-3663.
In the Springfield News-Leader, shredded cheese recalled for metal includes brands sold in Missouri. This is from the new USA Today network. A shredded cheese recall includes brands sold at several grocery stores in Missouri, according to an updated Food and Drug Administration report. The recalled cheese may contain metal pieces. Ohio-based Great Lake Cheese Company initiated the recall in early October, stating the affected cheese may be contaminated with metal fragments, which could cause injury if consumed, per the report. The FDA reclassified the recall to a Class 2 on December 1st, meaning the food may cause temporary or medical reversible adverse health consequences. The recalled cheese products were sold under dozens of brand names at retailers across the country, including Walmart, Target, and Aldi. Here's what to know: which brands were recalled. The FDA report lists low moisture, part skim mozzarella shredded cheese, individually packaged in plastic bags under the following names sold in Missouri: Always Save at Moser's, Price Chopper, Price Cutter, and other independent markets; Borden, shredded 8-ounce, thick cut 8-ounce; Brookshire's finely shredded 8-ounce, shredded 8-ounce, thick cut 8-ounce, and shredded 32-ounce; Cache Valley Creamery, shredded 8-ounce; Chestnut Hill, fancy shredded 8-ounce; Coburn Farms, shredded 8-ounce, shredded 12-ounce, shredded 32-ounce; Econo, shredded 8-ounce; Food Club, finely shredded 8-ounce, shredded 8-ounce, shredded 16-ounce, shredded 32-ounce tube style bag, shredded 32-ounce square style bag; Gold Rush Creamery, shredded 8-ounce, shredded 32-ounce; Good and Gather, sold at Target, fine cut 8-ounce, classic 8-ounce, classic 32-ounce; Great Lakes Cheese, shredded 5-pound; Great Value, sold at Walmart, finely shredded 8-ounce, finely shredded 16-ounce, shredded 8-ounce, shredded 16-ounce, shredded 32-ounce, and shredded 5-pound; Happy Farms by Aldi, shredded 16-ounce, shredded 32-ounce; Laura Lynn, finely shredded 8-ounce, shredded 8-ounce, shredded 12-ounce, shredded 16-ounce, and thick cut shredded 8-ounce; Lucerne Dairy Farms, finely shredded 8-ounce, shredded 8-ounce, shredded family size 32-ounce, rustic cut 8-ounce, rustic cut family size 32-ounce; Schnucks, shredded 8-ounce; Simply Go, classic cut shredded 8-ounce, classic cut shredded 32-ounce; Rustic cut shredded 8 ounce. Sprouts Farmers Market, finely shredded 8 ounce, shredded value pack 32 ounce. Sunnyside Farms shredded 16 ounce. Store brands sold at retailers outside Missouri include Food Club, Food Lion, H-E-B, Ingles, Publix with an X, Ralph's, Stater Brothers Markets, and Winn-Dixie. The Italian-style shredded cheese blend, low moisture, part skim mozzarella, provolone, parmesan, romano, fontino, and Asiago cheese, individually packaged in a plastic bag under the following names: Happy Farms by Aldi Italian-style shredded cheese blend, 12 ounce. Brookshire's Italian 6 cheese, finely shredded 8 ounce. Cache Valley Creamery 6 cheese Italian, finely shredded 8 ounce. Coburn Farms Italian style, finely shredded 12 ounce. Great Value Italian style, sold at Walmart, finely shredded 8 ounce, finely shredded 16 ounce. Simply Go Italian style cheese blend, 6 cheese blend, finely shredded 8 ounce. Store brands sold at retailers outside of Missouri include Ingles, Publix, and Winn-Dixie. Pizza style shredded cheese blend containing low moisture, part skim mozzarella, and mild cheddar cheeses, individually packaged in a plastic bag, sold under the following names: Econo Pizza, shredded 8 ounce. Gold Rush Creamery Pizza Blend, shredded 32 ounce. Great Value Pizza Blend, shredded 8 ounce. Simply Go Pizza Blend 2 cheese mix, classic cut, shredded 32 ounce. Store brands outside Missouri include Food Club and Ingles. Mozzarella and provolone shredded cheese blend containing low moisture, part skim mozzarella, and not smoked provolone cheeses, individually packaged in a plastic bag, sold under the following names: Freedom's Choice Pizza Blend, fine cut, 32 ounce. Good and Gather mozzarella and provolone, sold at Target, classic 8 ounce. Great Lakes cheese mozzarella and provolone, shredded 5 pound. Great Value provolone and mozzarella blend, sold at Walmart, shredded 16 ounce. Mozzarella and Parmesan shredded cheese blend, individually packaged in a plastic bag, sold under the following names: Good and Gather mozzarella and Parmesan shredded cheese blend, sold at Target, fine cut, 8 ounces. All in all, the cheeses were distributed to 31 states and Puerto Rico. Has the cheese been removed from store shelves? Great Lakes Cheese said in a statement that all affected products have been fully removed from the store shelved and replaced with new products, adding that any of these products currently on sale are safe to consume and not associated with the October recall. What to do with recalled shredded cheeses? Any households with any of the affected items from October in their refrigerators or freezers should discard the product or return it to the store where it was purchased for a full refund, Great Lakes Cheese said.
All right, here's another article from the Springfield News-Leader, posted December the 5th, 2025, from the education section. SPS educators explain how the district improved on state report card. Carver principal Dana Powers said, "We've been really proud of our growth, and it's because of our dedicated teachers." This article is by Claudette Riley of the Springfield News-Leader. Key points assisted by AI. Springfield Public Schools has shown steady progress on the state's annual performance report for 3 consecutive years. Teachers cited teamwork, data review, and high expectations as critical components for improving student test scores. While celebrating growth, district officials and teachers state they are not satisfied and will continue working to increase student proficiency. Teachers and principals in Springfield schools state that try that one more time. Teachers and principals in Springfield schools that posted high scores or made significant progress towards meeting state benchmarks recently reflected on the reasons for their success. In a lengthy presentation, educators from 8 buildings, Bingham, Carver, Glendale, Gray, Hillcrest, Parkview, Pipkin, and Pleasant View talked about their laudable performance on the annual performance report for the 2024-2025 year. They explained how collaboration, targeted training, support for student behavior, limited distractions, relationships, timely interventions, and an intense focus on literacy and math skills are paying off. They said time to meet as teams, review student data and instructional strategies, and address academic gaps have been critical. We've been really proud of our growth, and it's because of dedicated teachers. It really is. Our dedicated teachers, they dig in every single day, said Carver Principal Dana Powers. Carver math teacher Rosie Buckner added, "We believe that our progress is not luck or accidental, but rather the result of intentional choices, hard work, and a shared belief that our students can rise to any challenge that we put in front of them." Tessa Drew, who also teaches math at Carver, said the foundation of success, including a significant jump in math proficiency, is a commitment to high expectations. She said teamwork and reteaching missed skills, even approaching them in a different way, helps students to learn. "We don't lower the bar, we raise the support," she said. "We show students that we believe in their brilliance long before they may believe in it themselves." Board member Danielle Kincaid said, in addition to higher scores, educators are modeling teamwork, dedication, hard work, and high expectations. It's not just the data that we're seeing, but those lifelong skills that our students are seeing being emulated for them in the school building day in and day out. Springfield Public Schools has made progress as measured on the state's annual performance report for 3 straight years. Nicole Holt, Deputy Superintendent for Academics, said the district earned 83% of the points possible on the annual report card, an increase over the past 2 years. Only districts with a score below 70% for multiple years risk losing full accreditation from the state. The number of students scoring proficient or advanced, which is the benchmark watched by the state, has been climbing steadily in recent years. This year, it was 42.5% in science, 43.3% in math, and 45.4% in social studies, and 47.2% in reading. Are we satisfied with 42 to 47% in any given content area scoring proficient or advanced? No, we are not. Is this board satisfied with that? No, they are not, said Holt as part of the November 18th report to the board. But we are excited about what it is that we have put programming into place that is continuously supporting our students at gaining mastery of the standards that are essential for them to move from grade level to grade level. Holt added, "We are excited about the growth, but we are not resting until this data shows that more of our students are gaining proficiency every year." The APR relies heavily but not exclusively on academic achievement data. The state assigns points for making progress or hitting benchmarks in English, math, science, and social studies overall, with a subgroup that includes students who are Black and Hispanic, have disabilities, are part of the English Language Learners Program, or qualify for free or reduced priced school meals, a national measure of poverty. Glendale Principal Josh Grove said the high school has improved its proficiency levels on an end of course exams in recent years by more than 20%. Our teachers are the ones who do the work. The system has helped support us in that, but their love and care for kids translates to better success for our students, he said. Communication arts teacher Brad Kelly said working closely with school librarians has helped increase reading level scores. He said students are grouped by their reading level and assigned high interest books. Without the support of our librarians, I can tell you our EOC, the end of course scores, would not be where they are because they are super supportive and effective in helping teach our students, he said. Last year, Kelly said he made more than 100 contacts with parents to impart both praise and flag an area where help is needed. History teacher Brandon Nelson said Glendale staff members ask each other for strategies when they see a student is struggling. Our teachers are willing to help each other out. Nelson said the availability of printed materials in classrooms has been a plus, along with removing access to cell phones during the day. The cell phone ban has helped a ton. We did a pretty good job with that last year, and that was life-changing for teachers. It just helps students to focus a little more. Pipkin principal Dwayne Cox said there has been a cultural shift within the middle school in recent years. It's a place where kids are loved and teachers are loved. We have a great time, and it's a place where our kids are proud to be, he said. Teacher Samantha Johnson said changes to the master schedule gave all students the option of obtaining extra help or intervention during the school day. She said having protected time to do the extra work has made the difference. We get to continue it this year as well, keeping that now pathways to progress, as it's called, built within our schedule, where kids are having it every day, she said. Annette Fugit, a science teacher, said the ability to meet together as professional learning teams, or PLTs, has paid off. It gives educators the time to work together, examine data, and make adjustments. I have grown so much as an educator. The development, the opportunities, the collaboration have been fantastic. And when I say this, I mean this not just for me, but for the students, she said. The opportunities that we've been provided to give our kids has been phenomenal. Pleasant View Principal Kimberly Urey said that all teachers now have a partner for collaboration and a focus on intervention. We have a big picture for our students that each team member gets to share, said Rebecca Wilkins, a communications arts teacher at Pleasant View, which is an elementary and middle school. That means we get to have a shared vision of what we are giving our students at the beginning of 6th grade, which is then going to move into 7th grade and 8th grade so we don't have wasted time in instruction. Hillcrest Principal Rob Kroll said the school goes the extra mile to make sure students are engaged. Matt Showmaker, a social studies teacher at Hillcrest, said educators set their egos aside when looking at what strategies are working. We look at how students are processing the information we are trying to present, and he said, and if the data shows something is not working, we are ruthless about cutting it. We are not precious with anything if it needs to be adjusted. Hillcrest earned just 59.3% of points available in the APR in 2024, but jumped to 69.7% last year. There have been significant gains in key areas, including social studies. We are not just there to hope that students learn, we are there to ensure that they learn and what they need to learn when they are in our classroom, said English teacher Kayla Froming. She said the school emphasizes collaborating across content areas, sharing strategies and supports that are working well in our classrooms. At Parkview, scores on the APR jumped from 54.3% 2 years ago to 62.8% in 2025. I am extremely appreciative of our teams who have focused on true collaboration and a commitment to student growth and achievement, said Parkview Principal Megan Brown. It aligns with our mission of preparing students for college, career, and world readiness, and I believe our teachers do a good job. Bingham Principal Adam Meador said consistency was a factor, noting that all 21 teachers in the building are veteran educators and 19 were not new to the building. Having the right people teaching the right content year after year helps build deep knowledge of the curriculum and the needs of students, strengthen trust within the team, and minimizes gaps in the instruction, he said. Meador noted, Bingham, like the district, has grown for 3 years in a row. That growth is possible because of collaboration support within our building, across the district, and among peers who are eager to learn from one another, he said. Bingham showed 41.3% of students scored proficient or advanced in English, an increase of 5.7%. In math, 36.8% met the benchmark, up 9.4% from the previous year, and 44% hit the mark in science, a jump of nearly 14%. We're not happy with where we are, but we are on the right track, and we want to continue growing with that. Gary Elementary has performed well in recent years, and that continued last year. Overall, it scored on target in reading and math and showed growth. Carrie Sykes, an award-winning teacher and Springfield Teacher of the Year finalist, now serves as a data-driven instructional specialist at Gray. To make progress, Sykes said the school identified students who were almost or barely proficient and spent extra time helping them improve their academic skills. Those are the students we worked with in small groups, Sykes said. We were so proud of the students because more than 50% of the kids we worked with advanced at least one level, and 5% of those kids advanced 2 levels. They jumped all the way from basic to advanced, and we credit a lot of that to small group work.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader, December 4th, 2025, from Marta Mees. Baby delivered at Wonders of Wildlife. before first responders arrived. Springfield's Wonders of Wildlife National Museum and Aquarium was the scene of some unexpected holiday magic Wednesday, December 3rd, when it welcomed a new baby, a human one, into the world. At around 3:30 p.m. Wednesday, Springfield Fire Department and Mercy EMTs received a call for a woman in labor at the aquarium. Eli Snyder, senior emergency medical dispatcher with Mercy, took the call from someone who was with the mother and guided them through the delivery on the phone. He said the call lasted only about 7 minutes. He said the priority dispatch system, ProQA, helps with assessing the situation through guided questions and instructs how to get the mom into a comfortable position, time the contractions, guide the delivery, and ensure medical professionals have all the information on arrival. It can really help reassure the caller and the patient that there is someone there and they are listening and they're there to help them, Snyder said. Because I think sometimes the people call 911, they think, they just send the ambulance and don't do anything else. But we're always there to help with any kind of situation like that. Snyder said remaining calm himself and providing reassurance was paramount to ensuring the delivery was smooth. This was not the first time Snyder had been a part of the miracle of childbirth. Prior to becoming a dispatcher in mid-2022, he worked as a paramedic with Mercy and had helped with deliveries at hospitals. He said this was one of the first times he had to guide someone through that process over the phone, however. It's hard, being on the other end of the phone instead of being the EMT or paramedic that's actually there and you have the visual. You got to rely on the people on the phone to be your visual and to be your hands, Snyder said. Springfield Fire Captain Sean Jackson with Ladder 9 responded to the call at Wonders of Wildlife. By the time his crew arrived on scene, the baby had already been born in the aquarium's restroom. The Springfield fire crew assessed the situation and helped clear the baby's airways, clamp and cut the umbilical cord, and wrap the baby in a towel to keep warm. Jackson said both the mother and baby seemed healthy upon their arrival, with no apparent complications. I applaud the mom for, handling that by herself, he said. That's something that's very difficult to do. First responders said no further information can be released about the mother and the baby due to HIPAA restrictions. Wonders of Wildlife could not be reached for comment.
Okay. All right, this story is coming to you from the Springfield Daily Citizen out of Christian County. Special Road District ends its agreement with the City of Ozark. Ozark Special Road District commissioners say the former agreement with the City of Ozark became unworkable. OSRD wanted the city to consider reimbursing the road district for maintaining streets and city limits, by Zoe McIntyre, posted 5 hours ago. December 5th, 2025. There's a picture of the Ozark Special Road District Commissioner Jerry Countryman. He stands in front of a portrait next to a map of the City of Ozark's roads. The Ozark Special Road District, the OSRD, has suspended its agreement with the City of Ozark, ending the road district's maintenance of certain streets within the city. In the November 24th announcement, commissioners for the OSRD cited multiple reasons for the decision, including an effort to make responsible use of their budget and inability to negotiate an agreement with the city by the district's deadlines, and grievances with the city's process when approving some developments. OSRD is responsible for maintaining over 100 miles of roads in unincorporated Christian County. The road district says that in 2011, previous OSRD commissioners entered an agreement with the City of Ozark to maintain some roads within city limits. According to the City of Ozark Director of Communications, Maria Nider, OSRD was maintaining roughly 17.5 miles of streets within the city. The two entities' intergovernmental agreement was suspended on December the 1st. If we're maintaining 20% of our total road mileage for a municipality, then we get nothing back in return, and someone else is not receiving the maintenance on their road or the benefit of tax dollars that paid it, explained OSRD Commissioner Dwight McNeil. In a news release, OSRD stated, in part, that its commissioners have been concerned that the City of Ozark is not requiring developers to comply with public roadway and/or stormwater standards when construction projects start. So what does this mean for Christian County roads? The road district's responsibilities include mowing and snow plowing, as well as addressing bigger maintenance projects such as paving and installing culverts. Road district commissioners say that their annual budget is around $2.4 million. Residents of Christian County pay a 33% tax levy towards the OSRD. In late November, OSRD commissioners and Ozark City staff both told the Daily Citizen that they could not provide a specific estimate of the budget impact of changing the maintenance responsibility for the 17.5 miles of road. According to Ozark's Public Works Director, the city maintains just over 102 miles of centerline roads before OSRD suspended the intergovernmental agreement. In Ozark's proposed budget for 2025, the city requested $9.9 million in total for street expenses under its general fund. On November 24th, Ozark City Administrator Eric Johnson stated via email, "We understand that OSRD is exercising its right to terminate the IGA, which is the Intergovernmental Agreement, and we respect that. We are carefully evaluating the impact of that decision. In the interim, we will continue to work with our local partners to ensure that services are being provided and that we remain responsive to the constituent needs." The road district says the city has not required developers to follow the OSRD policy. Commissioners for OSRD expressed grievances within the city's communication and execution surrounding several large-scale developments currently in progress. According to Commissioner Jerry Countryman, the city has not always required developers to communicate with OSRD and obtain the required permits. The road district's access management policy requires developments to submit plans and receive permits from OSRD for projects that would connect traffic or make improvements to OSRD-maintained roads. Additionally, the road district may require a traffic impact study or ask a developer to acquire additional right-of-way for necessary site improvements. We've been having a hard time getting the developers that come in to comply, and part of it is how the city handles the developers, Countryman said. We kind of end up at the tail end of it trying to clean up problems and they don't take care of in their process. According to McNeil, the road district discovered in late summer or early fall of 2025 that the developer for the Green Bridge Estates subdivision was attempting to cut a new access onto Green Bridge Road without previously submitting plans to OSRD. Countryman also claimed that the city did not require developers for the Ozark Marketplace CID or Marabella development to fully comply with OSRD's access management policy. There has been a lot of subdivisions going in without fully complying. We end up with the end result that our roads that we take care of are being flooded, ditches are being washed out, and we're having to fix this and that, Countryman said. Ozark population growth complicates road maintenance. Patrick Platter, the attorney for OSRD, provided the Daily Citizen with 3 letters detailing some of the road district's attempts to negotiate a new agreement with City of Ozark. According to McNeil, OSRD set a deadline for the city to complete negotiations by November the 1st, then extended the deadline until December the 1st. In April of 2025, the road district asked Ozark to jointly review its agreement with OSRD, stating that the current agreement was no longer workable. A letter from Platter, dated May 6th, asked the city to review several topics, including which roads OSRD should maintain. In November 3rd letter, Platter laid out a series of terms for negotiation between the city and road district. These included a proposal for the city to reimburse OSRD at a rate of $40,000 per year for each mile of street it maintained within city limits. Commissioners for OSRD said the Ozark never reimbursed the road district for maintaining municipal streets, as this was not part of the former agreement. As the population of Ozark continues to balloon, Countryman states that the road district needs to focus on using its budget to service roads outside of the city. It's growing that fast, and the city can't keep up with what they need to keep up with, he said. They've had a free ride, and they've had a chance to negotiate with us, and we're doing what we feel it is right for the taxpayers as a whole. The story by Zoe McIntyre. She was born and raised in the Springfield area. She covers Springfield's surrounding communities like Nixa, Ozark, and Republic. While a student at Evangel, she enjoyed working on staff at the school's radio station and newspaper, where she served as editor-in-chief for 1 year. When she isn't persuading her friends to read more news, she enjoys cooking and thrifting.
This is from the Springfield Business Journal. CU steps up efforts to identify potential lead contamination. December 4th, 2025. After publicly asking water customers to self-identify potential lead contamination a year ago, City Utilities of Springfield is moving to the next phase of the initiative required by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. CU is asking water customers who haven't already responded to last year's request to self-identify their service line materials by a visual inspection and load a photo to the utility organization's website, according to the news release. The goal is to identify lead or galvanized service lines that could potentially release lead into the water system. Since launching the project in November 2024, customers have helped identify more than 52,000 customer-owned water service lines, officials said in the release. Roughly 38,000 lines, however, remain unknown, and City Utilities is asking those customers to take action now. For customers who do not submit documentation to CU by January 2nd, CU will begin going door to door to request permission to access basements or crawl spaces to verify service line materials. In announcing the initiative last year, CU officials pointed to the EPA's updated guidance on the lead and copper rule. Through the guidance, organizations such as CU are being asked to inventory the amount of lead used in water piping systems nationwide. This is not a decision made by City Utilities. It is a directive from the EPA and Missouri Department of Natural Resources, said Elizabeth Robertson, CU Director of Water Treatment and Supply, in November 2024. Robertson also said at the time that customers likely would be required to shoulder the cost of a replacement if lead contamination is found. She estimated the potential customer cost at $3,000 to $4,000. CU has inventoried its water lines and found no leak on its side.
Okay. From the Springfield Daily Citizen. Trial begins for the first of 5 suspects in a 2023 deadly shooting. Alicia Bedell, 21, faces a life sentence if the jury convicts him of murdering Chavez Nguyen and shooting Nguyen's girlfriend, by Jackie Riold, December 3rd, 2025. Haley Frillman, who was 7 months pregnant when she and her boyfriend were shot multiple times on November the 14th, 2023, was the third witness called to testify on Tuesday in the trial of one of the men suspected of pulling a trigger that evening. Frillman was shot 3 times in her finger, her leg, and her arm. Her injuries caused her to have a high-risk pregnancy, and she was in a wheelchair for months. Her boyfriend and the father of her baby, 26-year-old Chavez Nguyen, was shot numerous times and died on the scene. One of the alleged shooters, 21-year-old Alicia Bedell, is charged with first-degree murder, first-degree assault, 4 counts of armed criminal action, and 2 counts of unlawful use of a weapon. His trial is happening this week in Judge Todd Myers' courtroom. Frillman was 22 at the time of the shooting. She testified she and Nguyen had been together for more than a year, and they were headed to a restaurant that evening in 2023. Frillman was driving, and Nguyen was in the passenger seat. They just started shooting. Frillman described how a dark sedan with tinted windows carrying several occupants seemed to be following them as the couple traveled north on Kansas Expressway, nearing Chestnut Expressway. She turned onto Chestnut, and the sedan drove in the lane next to her car. They were riding window to window, going at the same speed as me, Frillman testified, adding that the tinted windows prevented her from seeing inside the car. Frillman said she turned right onto Grant Avenue and the other car continued on, but a few seconds later, the sedan was following them again and pulled alongside Frillman's car. They just started shooting, Frillman testified. Nguyen was unresponsive immediately, she recalled. She drove a bit further, hoping to find a way to call for help. Her car came to a stop near the intersection of College and Campbell in downtown Springfield, and the sedan drove away. Frillman testified she couldn't think of any reasons why someone would shoot her or Nguyen. Asked if Nguyen had any enemies, Frillman replied softly, "No one." Bedell is one of 5 suspects. The other 4 co-defendants suspected of opening fire on Frillman's vehicle that night are Timothy Hester, Cesar Bolanos, Cortez Washington, and Arshawn Bradley. They face the same charges as Bedell and remain in the Greene County Jail awaiting trials. Neither the prosecutor nor defense attorney mentioned in the opening statements whether any of the co-defendants would be called to testify during Bedell's trial. As other witnesses, mostly law enforcement officers, testified on Tuesday, Frillman sat in the front row of the gallery, flanked by family and supporters. She wept and put her head down when attorneys displayed photos and videos of Nguyen after his body was pulled from the bullet-ridden car. Bedell, who was 19 at the time of the shooting, is being held in the Greene County Jail. He is represented by public defender Jeffrey Wood and is allowed to wear a suit and tie to court. Bedell was happily rapping an hour after the shooting. Bedell uses a wheelchair because, according to court documents, when Bedell was 15 in 2019, he was the subject in a shooting incident during which he sustained a gunshot wound that left him paralyzed. The other person in the incident was uncooperative, so no charges were filed, the officer wrote. In his opening statement Tuesday morning, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Connor Brown told the jurors there would be hearing from multiple witnesses who would put Bedell in the vehicle that carried the shooters right before the shooting occurred. When police located the vehicle at Hester's girlfriend's apartment, Bedell was inside the apartment with Bolanos. Police found an AR-style pistol hidden in a hole in the bedroom wall and bullets in a toilet. Brown told jurors that Bedell posted a photo of himself holding that gun on social media 2 days before the shooting. Brown said that jurors would also be seeing a video Bedell made an hour after the shooting in which he was happily rapping about a shooting. 2 years ago, a nightmare unfolded in downtown Springfield, Brown said. A sudden burst of violence shattered an otherwise ordinary night. Without warning, without provocation, gunfire erupted with not one shot, not 2 shots, but dozens of shots from different firearms. Brown recalled calling the shooting a vicious attack. Jeffrey Wood, Bedell's public defender, also gave an opening statement Tuesday morning. Wood agreed with Brown that what occurred on the evening of November 14th was a nightmare, but Wood said witnesses have added, subtracted, and forgotten parts of their story since 2023, and that he would show there's plenty of reasonable doubt in the state's case against Bedell. His trial is expected to last a week. Bedell's trial began Monday, December the 1st, with jury selection. A jury of 7 men and 7 women was selected from a panel of 70 Greene County residents, but one of those men was released on Tuesday morning due to his wife's health issues. The trial is expected to conclude before the weekend, Myers told potential jurors. "We really appreciate this," Myers said to the 70 people who filled the courtroom Monday. "We cannot do this without your involvement. This is our government in action. This is we the people." Myers explained that summoning so many people to jury duty was necessary to find a jury that could be fair and impartial. "We bring in people that are willing to listen to facts and evidence presented in a courtroom and make a decision about a case, and that requires all of us citizens to be actively involved," Myers said. Short of military service, many times this can be one of the biggest roles any individual can play in our government and in society. The search for a fair and impartial jury. Chief Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Josh Harrell also spoke to the panel about the importance of jury selection. Mr. Bedell has been charged with serious crimes. He deserves to have his case heard by a fair and impartial jury. Likewise, the state has charged that serious crimes have occurred in Greene County, Missouri. The state is also entitled to have its case heard by a fair and impartial jury. The panel was questioned about whether anyone has heard about the case from news, reports, or social media, and if they had, would they be willing to set anything they'd heard outside of their minds and only consider evidence presented during the trial. Harrell explained to the jury about the 3 basic rules of the criminal justice system. The charge of the offense is not evidence of the offense. Bedell is to be presumed innocent until he is proven guilty over the course of the trial, and that prosecution must prove that Bedell is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The panelists were questioned about their ability to send a 21-year-old man to prison for life without the possibility of parole, the mandated sentence if Bedell is convicted of first-degree murder. Harrell warned the panel about evidence that will include graphic photos of Frillman's injuries and of Nguyen's body at the time and the scene during the autopsy. This trial will have some rough material, and if anyone here feels they may be uncomfortable having to list type of graphic testimony, I'm putting mine here too, right? The truth of the matter is, no one likes looking at those kind of pictures or hearing that kind of testimony.
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-the-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are broadcast over KSMU's subcarrier, airwaves at 67 kilohertz at 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.
The time is 12 p.m.